Hi, this is Zachary Ball with Omnis Technologies, continuing our series on the CTERA. Today we're going to be talking about recovery time. So one of the things we do when we come into a client's situation to say they want to go with the CTERA, obviously one of the first things we look at is internet. Because really you have to have decent internet to be able to push these backups overnight or do real time or whatever the situation may be. So as an example, we took on a client this past summer who was actually using DSL. So the first thing I said is we have to get away from DSL. We ended up going with a local fiber company. The cable company in that area wasn't very well liked, unfortunately, and their service wasn't great. So we just skipped cable and went right to fiber, which was 100 up, 100 down. So when we go into a client situation, one of the first things I look at is the infrastructure. Will the CTERA work effectively on their internet? So in this case, most of our clients have cable or a fiber connection, number one. So number two, if we have to pull a backup from the CTERA, the cloud portion, usually that's a worst case scenario because we usually have some kind of local backup first, whether it's an external drive or the CTERA C200 itself. We can generally just get most of the backups, copy and paste it right from the CTERA itself. But so assuming worst case scenario, a business goes up in flames. We have to re-download all of the data from the cloud and obviously get a server or workstation. We have to get hardware and restore from scratch. So one of the questions is, how long does that take? Now, what I found was a nifty tool that we can use to actually figure out our time. It's called downloadcalculator.net. So for instance, here we have file size. So let's say we have a client with 250 gigs of data. They're running at 50 megabytes per second through their local cable provider. It's going to take maybe about 12 hours to do that. But if you're considering fiber, 100 up, 100 down, we can get that data within 6 hours. But generally, I would say if we have to ever download anything from the cloud in that type of situation, it's usually a worst case scenario. If the other form of backups we have failed, or unfortunately something happens to the business, we would have to go through the process of re-downloading everything, resetting up the apps, doing a new server, workstations, whatever the setup may be for that client. But this is a good tool here, this downloadcalculator.net. This will obviously give us a pretty good idea of what we can expect. I don't believe we have any clients running on anything slower than 50 meg, just because we like to see cable or fiber. But that's generally what I would say when it comes to recovery time is a couple of things. So the recap, if someone is going to put a CTERA in their business, we would like to see either cable or fiber, because DSL, even some of the lower end cable like 15 meg, that would just be too slow to really push a lot of data off site. If we ever have to re-download all of the data from the cloud, it's usually a worst case scenario for a business, unfortunately. And the download time will vary depending upon how much, data is actually there. I mean, we have a client with 1.5 terabytes in the cloud. I mean, that would obviously take a couple of days to download. But on the flip side, it would also take us time to get new hardware or a new server in to get them back up and running. So those are the things to consider when it comes to recovery time.